I want you to get together.
Hello everyone, how are we all doing? So I've got an interesting video for you guys today. I say interesting, I'm going to be rehashing very old conspiracies as usual. Just to get in light of the millennial reign theory, and this comes off the back of me watching a couple of videos by Jason Jack, who is another channel, another voice in the millennial kingdom, millennial reign theorizing network, shall we call it? I don't know. We're a loose group of people who are slowly getting to know each other. I haven't reached out to Jason Jack yet, but I would like to have the guy on the channel to share all his thoughts and ideas and theories surrounding the millennial reign. And he does have some very interesting perspectives, especially on the beloved city and New Jerusalem and the differences between these things. And he talks a lot about the Byzantine Empire and how that could possibly be the manifestation of the thousand-year reign. It's really interesting stuff. But I was watching one of his recent videos, showing all the number one evidence we have for the millennial kingdom, and he he was talking about dinosaurs, and I just thought it was funny because it was one of those throwback things to when I first started researching conspiracy. You learn very early on that everything is pretty much a lie. And dinosaurs are one of those things, aren't they, that you kind of have to come to the realization of that. Yeah, we were totally fobbed off with that one. We were taken for a ride with dinosaurs. They just plain and simply never existed, especially not how they have explained. You could perhaps say something akin to dragons existed, which you could say were the dinosaurs of the past. But even then, the dinosaurs we are shown a lot of fossils of are not that at all, and are pretty much fabrications. And he was going on to show how in the 1800s, that's when he believes the little season truly began, in the middle of the 1700s, early 1800s. This is when Satan really took over, and when his minions, those who are under his leadership through secret societies, the people who work for him, basically began to create nonsense, to fabricate a false history, to denigrate biblical history and the biblical narrative. And he was reeling off all the people that appeared during this time and all the revolutions that happened, the French Revolution and the wars in Russia and all this type of stuff, and the War of Empires. And he was showing how Darwin popped up and started spreading evolution. The Age of Enlightenment began, which was the heliocentric model became mainstream understanding as well, and dinosaurs were first popping up around this time as well. And I can't remember now while driving the name of the person who invented dinosaurs, and I literally mean invented dinosaurs. But he was basically talking about it in a way I thought was quite funny. How this guy just wrote books about this fantasy, and it shows him stood next to like a skeleton of a dinosaur, the first photograph of a man standing next to a dinosaur skeleton, and it's clearly just made up. It's not even anatomically correct as Jason Jack described it. It's completely just as fake can be, And that's what the modern day multi-billion pound industry is based upon, this random fantasy this guy just made up in the 1800s. And it's just really funny because he has loads of I think they made like a sculpture park dedicated to some of the dinosaurs, supposed. And they look nothing like the dinosaurs today, and they all look ridiculous. It's just really, really, really bad. And he shows lots of sketches he did of these dinosaurs as well that he was discovering, and they look awful. They're not anywhere near to what they make dinosaurs out to be today. So it's kind of like, did dinosaurs fossils suddenly just change shape drastically over the past 200 years? It doesn't make any sense. The shape's the shape, right? You uncover a dinosaur fossil, then it's the same in the 1800s as it would be today. So why are these drawings so drastically different from the models we have today? That just wouldn't happen. So it's just, the point I'm trying to make, just in a roundabout way, is it reminded me that we conspiracy theorists, we believe a lot of crazy stuff by the standards of the world. And it's a hard pill to swallow for most, for us going around saying things like, evolution, they just made it up. Not real at all. The heliocentric model, bullshit. Utterly made up nonsense. Dinosaurs never existed. Not real. As I'm saying these things, to us, to the conspiracy theorists out there, the people who've been in the game for decades, that's basic stuff, right? That's like the blank canvas you build upon with the knowledge of conspiracy. You accept those fundamental truths and move on from there. But I realize these basics that I've just reeled off there are like just completely not basic at all to the rest of the world. They sound nuts. I think I'm saying this as kind of like a tips for truthers kind of thing, but it's kind of, we have to remember what we sound like to other people. I think we forget sometimes just how nuts by the world standards our beliefs are. Like, so you're telling me you believe that we're in an enclosed stationary Earth, evolution doesn't exist, and dinosaurs never existed. Like, that goes against all the programming, doesn't it? And I do think things are changing, and more people are more open than ever to accepting these things than they were when I started in 2012 and prior to that, 2001, when another big wake-up period for people. It's taken a long time. It's taken a few decades to get people to the point now where maybe they can more easily, readily believe these things I'm saying here. Maybe it's getting to that point where it is more easy to understand, easy to accept. I think people are really waking up now to the fact that they have been completely lied to about everything. And I mean everything. So Jason Jack in his video was explaining how, this is the little season, this is how it works. And he was talking about how there are many Christian apologetics out there, people out there making books about trying to square, biblical theology with modern mainstream science about evolution and dinosaurs and the heliocentric model and all this type of stuff. So what they've done is they've kind of twisted scripture and made interpretations of passages to try and say, no. God did describe it how you guys are describing it too. It's still about, when what Jason was saying, and I tend to agree with him, is why are you arguing with these people? Just tell them it's all bollocks. So you believe they say we Christians believe in made up fairy tales. They truly are believing in made up fairy tales that only existed about 200 years ago. Like, they were just invented by people during a time which we can now add to explain at the beginning of Satan's little season. Everything was overhauled, and we were completely lied to about everything in that time, and a brand new system of beliefs was created. A brand new world history was just utterly invented in that Enlightenment period, and none of it was true. It was all just made up, and this is magic. These are what magicians and warlocks and wizards and witches do. Okay, they use books, words, media, and language to influence people and make them believe stuff, and therefore create a reality based on those beliefs. Okay, that's magic. Spell casting is spelling words, and textbooks are the ultimate spells that are casted over swaths of people, nations, and then many people come under that particular spell and then are living under the delusion of the spell, and whatever that may be, evolution or heliocentrism or dinosaurs, take your pick, you know what I mean? But these are spells, guys, that we need to snap out of, that we need, and the only solution to the magic we're under isn't using white magic against dark magic or all that occult nonsense. It's just realizing the truth in Christ and the biblical narrative, and all the scales will be dropped from your eyes, and you're like, oh wow, so that's what's been going on all this time. The magic is weak in light of the truth. So that's why everything they have done, every spell they have designed, every thought form they have crafted to put people under and send out in the world through their magic, through their media, is anti-God and anti-biblical history and anti-biblical narrative through and through. It's all inverted. Everything we believe is an inversion of the biblical truth in the mainstream world. And it's done by design. It was on purpose. So yeah, I thought go check out Jason Jack's video if you haven't already, and his channel. Again, I'm relatively new to his work. I'm just kind of absorbing a lot of it now. It seems like he's been around for quite a while. I think one of his main videos was 7 years old on his page, so he's been in the game. He's got about 8,000, 9,000 subs, so you know, he's seems pretty cool. Seems down to earth. I like the videos he's compiling currently are quite thorough. A nice thorough compilation of all the best evidence we have for the Millennial Kingdom already passing and living in the little season. So yeah, go check out his channel and his work, Jason Jack. And again, coming back to this point of everything we were taught was a complete lie in schools and in the textbooks, you know. And it does seem, in light of the millennial reign and the little season theory, this was a part of that plan and that agenda and the start of Satan's season. We can see it now. It's another piece of the puzzle that kind of fits, you know. It's kind of, oh yeah, well of course all of this stuff appeared then, because that seems to be around the time the whole thing went down. You know, the whole switch over of power took place in some way. And I say that loosely. Jesus is still in control. His kingdom is eternal. Satan has no real power of his own. He's been given a little season, you know. Even then, he probably had to grovel for that when you really think about it, you know. But it works, doesn't it? It fits the narrative again. Why did all these beliefs, all these historical facts and all these sciences and all these textbooks and all this narrative only begin then in that one period? And we can kind of loosely, through our history that we do get glimpses of, I know it's all a mess, our chronology, but you can clearly see that people before this time period did believe something akin to a biblical narrative or perspective or cosmology. You know, it wasn't crazy to think the Earth wasn't a ball in space. It was pretty standard to believe, no, it's clearly something akin to being a plane and an enclosed system of some kind. You know what I mean? And everyone knew it. It was basic knowledge. And only in the past 200 years have we decided, no, it's the opposite. And now if you even question that, you are ludicrously insane and you need to snap out of it or perhaps be locked up in some way. And it's kind of like, damn, these are powerful spells, aren't they? Because they police themselves. The people who are under it become zombies to it and kind of police everybody else based on it and force them to continue to go along with the narrative, the spell, whatever it is. It's powerful stuff. But I just thought it was funny because, yeah, these are like basics to us. And I was just imagining, like, I think we do forget, don't we? Just how nuts it all actually sounds to a normie perspective, like an outsider perspective. It sounds crazy. We sound stupid. We really do. And we're not, obviously. Like, we thought about this. We came to these conclusions logically, through research, more research than we ever actually did in schools. You know, it's not like we came to these conclusions through nothing. But it still sounds ridiculous. And I just think we need to remember that. I do think we need to remember that sometimes. But at the same time, as I was also saying at the start, I think people are more open to it these days. Something's changed, you know. People are more receptive to these ideas and these concepts than ever before. So there's hope. There's hope, I suppose. It just doesn't sound as crazy anymore. I think after the whole clown world phenomena and the things people have witnessed happen over the past 5 years with our leaders, I think the general populace is kind of like scratching their heads a little bit, saying, something ain't right. Something's wrong, you know. And I think they're looking to alternative voices now to try and find answers or solutions to what's going on here. And of course, there is a controlled opposition, isn't there? There is a controlled truth movement out there ready to catch all those people and lead them astray, lead them down the New Age Gnostic path or something like that. I don't know. There's many different factions to that. But still, people are asking questions, which is great. And those who are sincerely looking for answers will always inevitably end up at the biblical conclusion. It's kind of unavoidable because that is the truth. And if you're looking for it, that's where you'll end up. It can't be helped. It can't be stopped. It's whether you like it or not. You can try and parse your way out of it mentally and try and twist the scriptures to make it out to be just another controlled thing if you want. But word for word, an observation to the reality we live in, it fits. It's this is the truth. So this millennial reign theory, I'm glad there's so many channels out there talking about it right now. I really am. I think it's helping a lot of people. I think it's helping a lot of people understand why the Bible's true more so. Because, like I said, we have in the past always been stuck with these arguments from the mainstream secular types. Like, well, what about dinosaurs? Well, what about infinite space? Oh, well, what about evolution? It's kind of like with the millennial reign evidence, it's kind of like all that was made up nonsense. It's clear as day. The people who made it up were all in on it together. They were all members of the same secret societies. They were all doing it around the exact same time period, which we can now interpret and understand as the beginning of the little season of Satan and the end of the millennial reign. It all fits now. Like the narrative is making a lot more sense. The timeline of events is making a lot more sense. So now we don't have to argue with these idiots anymore out there still pushing these spells that they fell for and are under. Now we can just stop in our tracks and say, nope, the millennial reign has already happened. We're living in Satan's little season. You're just believing all of the made up nonsense that began it all. That's all you're doing. And it's a more legitimate answer, really, than, well, if you reinterpret this passage and these words said here, he said circle of the earth. So really a sphere, when viewed from a 2D perspective, is a circle. So God was also describing, he was also describing a ball floating in space. The Bible's still true in that respect. And it's kind of like, well, that's not what it says. It says, is it? It's kind of, that's just one example. But there's many examples of apologetic, argumentative Christians out there who are out there trying to say, God invented evolution, and the evolutionary model is God's model. A 6-day creation, it wasn't actually 6 days. It's probably 6 million. It's kind of just doing stuff like that, to try and jam it in, to the narrative that it just does not belong in at all. I think Jason Jack described it as trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, which is true. That's exactly what these. And we can kind of, in the past, I would have been thankful for those Christians out there trying to do that. I suppose, trying to bridge that gap to non-believers through the secular scientific model. But it's kind of like you really can't play with that kind of stuff and win. It's because you're playing on their terms. Do you get what I mean? Like you're playing the game on their level, on their terms, and it's kind of they've rigged the game. You're trying to make the Bible, which is the truth and the biblical narrative, fit with a lie, like a blatant, just made up lie, in order to appease the world. And there's nothing worse than that, really, when you think about it. It's nonsense, isn't it? Anyway, I can hear I'm rambling a little bit here. I just watched his recent video and this. I thought, yeah, this guy's hitting some great points, and it got the old noodle going there. So I thought I'd make a quick video and also test out this new mic as well, this new lavalier mic. I hope the audio quality was a lot better than the previous ones. I found a new mic, and I'm going to go listen back to this now and see what it sounds like. I'm hoping it's good, guys. I'll be back with another random rant soon. I am currently without internet, and the only way I get internet is if I travel to my old house where it's still connected, which I've just done now to pick up a few more things to take to the new house. So it's one of those. So I'm doing the best I can with what I've got, guys. But once I'm all settled in, coming into the new month, hopefully the office will be somewhat assembled in some way, or at least I'll have internet at the new house. I'll be back with more regular content and interviews and all sorts of things. And yeah, I'm going to reach out to this guy as well, this Jason Jack, and see if he wants to join me too. So yeah, guys, I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.
I want you to get together.